Celebration of joy, experience the overcoming light. Celebration of joy, unspeakable.
Hello, I'm Dr. Gregory Ballard, Senior Pastor of the Joy Tabernacle Church. And when you're in Houston, Texas, you know where to come. We have a great word for you. We want you to join us. Come into the sanctuary of the Joy Church and hear this powerful and dynamic word. Thank you.
When Jesus sets his face towards Jerusalem, he decides that he's going to go to Jerusalem through Samaria. Touch your neighbor and say, neighbor, you're not going to get where it is you're trying to go unless you're willing to go through some places. Help me here, God. Or through some spaces, or through some stuff. Help me here, Jesus. He sets his face towards Jerusalem, but he needs to go through Samaria in order to get there. I don't have time to tell you about an encounter that had happened previously about Jesus and a woman who was at a well that he met because he had need to go through Samaria in order to meet her need. I don't have time to preach the whole Bible, but here he is again with a need to go through Samaria in order to get to Jerusalem. I'm trying to help somebody, because you're not going to get where it is I feel like preaching here. Where it is God is trying to take you to if you're trying to bypass some difficult spots. Help me here, somebody. Yes, you are exalted, blessed, and highly favored, but that doesn't mean that you're not going to have some challenges while on your journey. Can I get a witness here? I'm here to tell you, yes, the Christian experience is not simply a high road, but it's a road with some peaks and some valleys. Sometime you're up and sometime you're down. The old folks used to say, sometime level to the ground. But if you're going to get where it is, I'm going to leave you alone here. Where it is you're trying to go, you're going to have to go through Samaria. Help me here, God. For Samaria represents brokenness. Touch your neighbor and say, neighbor, Samaria represents brokenness. And you just might as well set your face, because you're going to have to encounter, if God is to grow you up, some brokenness. He's got to break you before he can bless you. He's got to break you before he can distribute you. He's got to break you. Help me here, Holy Ghost. Before he can use you. Give somebody a high five and say, neighbor, we're going through Samaria. Now notice what I said. We're going through Samaria. Samaria is a place of brokenness, but we're going. Yes, I think you got it here now. We're going through Samaria. The Samaritans were hated because they were half-breeds. Yes, during the time of Assyria. And when Assyria was fighting God's people, there was the coming together of these two races, and it produced the Samaritans. and they were hated by the Jews. It represents a place, Samaria, of brokenness. And there are some things you're going to encounter on your journey that you might hate. But you got to go through it in order to get to it. They were unfaithful. They were excluded. They were, the Samaritans, discounted. They were hated and despised. But he sets his face. It is precisely why he sets his face toward Jerusalem, and intentionally he goes through Samaria. Because on your way to your appointed place, you just must go through your Samaria. Touch somebody and say, you must go through it. You must go through it. You must go through your Samaria. Now, I don't know what your Samaria is. Maybe your Samaria is a place of sickness. Anybody been there? You had one sickness after the other. And every time it seemed like you're about to get straightened out, every time it seems like you're about to be well, every time it seems like you're about to do better, something else happens. Your sugar gets straightened out, and then you have blood pressure problems. Your blood pressure gets straightened out, then you have feet problems. Help me here, somebody. You get that straightened out, and then your weight vacillates up and down. I don't know where your Samaria is, but we all have them. Help me here, somebody. Maybe for you it is not sickness, but maybe I've got to stay on this until somebody gets it. Maybe your Samaria is a relationship that you had confidence in and you thought it would last forever, and somehow the one you put your confidence in broke your heart, and you're still living in the past. Maybe that is your Samaria. I don't know where it is, but we all have them. Maybe your Samaria is not possessing the necessities that you need in life and the comfort and contentment of things that you need to make your life whole and better. Well, I don't know what your Samaria is, but I do know this: all of us need to go by Samaria. Am I right about it? But as we travel on life's journey, help me, Lord, as we make our descent and as we try and please our God, we must set our face. Can I get a witness? Can I get a witness here? We must go by Samaria, my brothers and my sisters. But I'm glad that I can report to you some good news, and that good news is, as we take our journey and we set our face towards whatever it is we have to deal with, there is one who's not outside of our circumstances, but because of the incarnation, he's right there with us. Yes, I feel my help. He's right there with us in the midst of every battle we ever have to fight. Yes, he's right there through every mountain we will ever have to climb. He's right there whenever it is we need him the most. Can I get a witness?